At 2 a.m., her door shook. Voices shouted her name. She stood frozen in the dark, until the porch light caught one small thing on the wall, an old FBI jacket. The room went quiet, and everything changed. On a quiet street by the lake, a woman named Naomi Parker kept a simple home. A little white fence, a porch swing, a wind chime that sang when dusk moved through the trees. She worked late most nights. She liked the quiet after midnight. She called it her clear hour. It was her time to let the day exhale. Naomi had moved to this neighborhood for its promise, a place where kids rode bikes, where neighbors waved from driveways. There was a homeowners group that managed rules and reminders. She read the bylaws twice. She planted flowers within the lines. She kept her yard neat. She paid her dues on time. She wanted no trouble. Peace was the plan. On a Friday, a letter slid under her door. Noise complaint, it said. But the date was wrong. The time was wrong, too. Naomi worked that night. She kept the receipt from her shift, stamped 10:58 p.m. She set the letter on her table and left a voicemail for the office. Calm voice, clear facts. Happy to talk. Please call me back. No one called. Days passed. A second letter arrived, then a third. Each one felt less like a question and more like a verdict. The tone grew sharp. Failure to respond. Escalation. Compliance visit. Naomi took a breath. She placed her documents in a folder. She set it by the door. She believed in order. She believed in kindness. She also believed in proof. The night it happened, the air was so still you could hear the lake breathe. Naomi brewed mint tea. She washed a single cup. She turned off the lights and let the house rest. At 2 a.m., the front doorknob rattled hard. Then came the knock, fast, firm, heavy. A voice called her name. Another voice said, "Compliance check." Naomi froze. She looked through the peephole. The porch light cut the dark into a small circle. She saw jackets, flashing lights further down the street. She saw two faces she did not know. They stood close to her door, as if they were in her living room. Her heart thudded. She spoke through the wood. "Please step back. Please show ID. Open up," a voice said, louder now. "HOA enforcement. We have support on site." Naomi felt the word support drop like a stone into her stomach. She reached for her phone. She hit record. She called the non-emergency line. She kept her voice even. "There are people at my door at 2 a.m. They say they are here for a compliance check. I did not ask for this. I do not feel safe." Before the dispatcher could finish, the wood shook. The latch snapped. The door swung wide and hit the wall. Naomi took one step back and put both hands up where everyone could see. Her phone stayed recording. Her mouth was dry, but her gaze did not drop. Two officers entered with the HOA reps behind them. Boots on her welcome mat, flashlight beams sliding over family photos, and a framed diploma on the hall. The taller one called her name again, but softer now, like he might be unsure of his lines. The shorter one scanned the room and found the wall by the coat rack. There, under a small porch light that leaked through the window, hung a navy jacket. It wasn't flashy. It was worn at the cuffs. The letters were bold and simple. FBI. It was a jacket from a training Naomi had completed years before, when she had worked as an analyst, before she changed fields, before the late shifts, before the lake house. She kept the jacket there for one reason. It reminded her to be careful and to be brave. The room changed. The voices fell into the floor. The taller officer lowered his light. The shorter one spoke into his radio, then stopped. Both of them looked at Naomi in a new way. Not with fear, with focus. They asked for her name again, but now it sounded like a question and not a command. HOA rep. Careful. We have complaints. Noise, visitors, a possible short-term rental. We left notices. Naomi, calm, clear. I received your letters. The dates are wrong. I live alone. I work nights. I called and left a message. I can show you proof. But you cannot enter my home at 2 a.m. for a check. Please step outside. Please respect my space. The taller officer looked at the broken latch. He looked at the jacket again. He softened his shoulders. "Ma'am," he said, "let's move this to the porch." He guided the HOA reps back out, boots thumping across the threshold. Naomi followed with her folder of documents. She stepped onto the porch in her robe and slippers, head high, hands steady. On the steps, Naomi set down her folder and opened it. She showed her work schedule, pay stubs, the time-stamped receipt, and a note from her neighbor who watered plants when Naomi stayed late. She showed a copy of the bylaws. She pointed to the part about quiet hours. She read the line out loud. No compliance visits after 9 p.m. The officer read it too. The HOA reps went still. The shorter officer spoke first. "We will document the time and circumstance." He looked at Naomi and chose his next words with care. "You have the right to file a report about the forced entry. We will note the broken latch. We will also note the bylaw you read." He turned to the HOA reps. "Let's pause this process. You'll need to follow proper steps." A truck rolled by, slow and curious. A curtain twitched across the street. The lake moved like a deep breath behind the houses. Naomi felt her body float back down into itself. She did not raise her voice. She did not shake. She kept everything slow, Naomi, even, "I want a record of this. I would like your names. I will share my documents during daytime hours by appointment, with notice." The officers left. The HOA reps walked away, talking in whispers now. Naomi stood at her own doorway, the broken latch hanging like a question mark. She picked up her phone, saved the recording, and sent it to herself and to a trusted friend. Then she carried a small screwdriver from the kitchen drawer and set the door gently back in place for the rest of the night. She made new tea with shaking hands. She sat at the table and watched steam rise like a promise that the day would come. Morning brought light and choices. Naomi chose clarity. She filed a report about the entry. She emailed the HOA office with the timeline, the bylaw clip, and the recording. She asked for a meeting with a board member and a mediator. She used words that opened doors, not words that closed them. She asked for training on after-hours procedures. She asked for a review of the complaint system. She asked for her latch to be replaced by the group that had forced it. At the meeting, there were fresh eyes. A new board member listened and took notes. The property manager apologized for the time, for the fear, for the tone of the letters. The officer's report was read. It listed the hour, the bylaw, the entry. It included Naomi's proof of work hours. It recommended policy changes. No one raised a voice. No one rushed. They spoke like people who live near each other and want to sleep well at night. The board voted to change its night procedures. There would be no late visits. All notices would include a callback number and email. Any visit would be during the day by appointment, with respect at the door. The group offered to cover the cost of a stronger latch and a camera. Naomi accepted the latch. She declined the camera. She already had her own. A week later, a quiet knock tapped on Naomi's door. 3 soft taps, the kind that ask for permission. On her porch stood the taller officer, with a new welcome mat and a simple note. "For peace," it read. He did not stay. He left it there and walked back to his car. Naomi smiled. Not because a mat fixes a night like that, but because a small act done right can help the air clear. Friends asked Naomi why the jacket mattered that night. She told them the truth. It wasn't about power. It wasn't about rank. It was about story. The jacket told a story that said, "Look again. Be careful. Be sure." It reminded everyone in that room that respect is not a favor. It is a baseline. It is step 1. On the next clear night, Naomi sat on her porch with mint tea and the wind chime humming a brighter song. The lake moved in little silver lines. She watched her street and felt a new kind of quiet, one she had helped build with patience, with proof, and with a steady voice in the dark.